Different person, different city, different year, same ending. You told yourself it was bad timing. You told yourself they just weren't ready. You told yourself the next one would be different, because this person was different. Different face, different name, different everything. And then it happened again, that same slow pull away, that same moment where things were finally getting real and they vanished. Not all at once, gradually, just enough to keep you holding on, just enough to make you question yourself instead of the pattern. Here's what nobody told you. When something painful happens once in dating, that's bad luck. When it happens twice, that's a coincidence you can shake off. But when the same emotional experience keeps finding you, different person, same script, that is not the universe punishing you. That is a relationship pattern. And it has been running in the background of your life longer than you realize. By the end of this, you will never look at your dating history the same way again. Here's the thing about relationship patterns. They don't feel like patterns while they're happening. They feel like chemistry. They feel like intensity. They feel like finally, this person gets me. That magnetic pull you feel towards certain people, even when your gut says slow down, isn't always love at first sight. A lot of the time, it is familiarity in disguise. And this is exactly why people ask, why do I keep attracting the same person? It is not magic. It is not bad luck. It is your attachment style seeking out what it already knows. Think of it like this. Imagine your nervous system is a navigation app. It was programmed during your earliest experiences with love, with your caregivers, your first heartbreaks, the relationships you watched growing up. That programming set a definition of what normal feels like in a relationship. And now, every time you meet someone who matches that definition, even unconsciously, your nervous system lights up. Not because they are right for you, because they feel familiar. This is what attachment style actually means in real life, not a quiz you take online. It is your nervous system's definition of love, built before you were old enough to choose it. But it goes even deeper than that. There is a second mechanism running underneath. Psychologists call it repetition compulsion. But before we use that term, here's what it actually is: emotional muscle memory. When you go through a painful emotional experience, especially one that was never fully resolved, your mind does not just file it away. It keeps reaching for it, like a tongue reaching for a sore tooth. Not because you enjoy the pain, because some part of you believes that this time you can fix it. This time you can make it turn out differently. So you unconsciously recreate the scenario. New person, same emotional setup, hoping for a different ending. That is the hidden engine behind your dating patterns. You know that feeling when you meet someone, and within 2 weeks it feels like you have known them forever? The conversations go deep, fast. They text intensely early on. They remember small things you said. They talk about the future, trips you should take, restaurants you should try, and something in you thinks, okay, this one is different. Then, around the 3-month mark, something shifts. They do not pull away completely. They just become slightly less present, a little harder to read. The future talk quietly disappears. You start working harder to get back to that feeling from week 2. You text more thoughtfully. You make yourself more available. You fill in the blanks with what you hope is true. And they, without realizing it, pull back just enough to keep you reaching. Sound familiar? Or maybe your version looks completely different. Maybe you are the one who suddenly feels trapped the moment things get serious. You need space. You start finding faults that were not there yesterday. You create distance without fully understanding why. Different behavior, same underlying relationship pattern, same mechanism. Now think about the last time this happened. Not this person, the one before. Different person entirely. Different look, different career, different energy on the surface. But at that same emotional milestone, when things started getting real, the dynamic shifted the exact same way. 2 completely different people, behaving identically at the same emotional checkpoint. Research in personality and attachment psychology suggests that familiarity strongly shapes attraction. often far outside our conscious awareness. In many cases, we are drawn toward people who recreate the emotional environment we grew up in, not because it was healthy, but because it is what our nervous system recognizes as normal. And if you grew up in an environment where love felt inconsistent, where affection was something you had to earn rather than something freely given, your nervous system learned something dangerous. It learned that uncertainty feels like excitement, that emotional unavailability feels like depth, that chasing feels like connection. So without even trying, you walk past the person who is consistently kind, consistently present, consistently clear. And you are magnetically drawn to the one who keeps you guessing. Not because you are broken, because your nervous system is following the map it was given. This is not just about why you keep attracting the same person. This is about the fact that you have been trying to solve a problem you did not know existed. You have already tried changing your type, taking breaks, moving cities, dating someone completely different on paper, and none of it worked, because the pattern does not live in the people you choose. It lives in what you respond to. This is what psychologists mean by repetition compulsion. Your mind keeps recreating familiar emotional territory, not to hurt you, but because unresolved pain has a gravity to it. It pulls until you face it directly. Psychology gives us the mechanism, but ancient philosophy gives us the mindset. The Stoics understood this same truth long before it had a clinical name. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In plain English, the obstacle is the path. The pattern that keeps breaking your heart is not evidence that you are destined to fail at love. It is a map, a very specific, very personal map, pointing directly at the thing that needs to be examined. And if you have ever asked yourself, why do I always fall for the wrong person? The answer almost always lives inside your attachment style and the unresolved patterns it keeps recreating. Most people treat the pattern as the enemy. They try to escape it. The Stoic insight and the psychological truth is the opposite. The pattern is not your enemy. The pattern is the information. So here is what changes now that you know this. First, the next time you feel that intense, immediate pull towards someone, that "I have known you forever" feeling in week 1, slow down. Ask yourself honestly, does this feel like excitement or does it feel like familiarity? Those are not the same thing. Second, notice the milestone. Relationship patterns almost always activate at the same emotional checkpoint. Watch what happens, in them and in you, the moment real vulnerability enters the picture. Third, stop auditing them. Start auditing your reaction. When they pull back, do you lean in harder? When they go vague, do you fill in the blanks with what you hope is true? The pattern lives in that reaction. Catching that impulse in real time is how you start rewriting the code. You did not choose the map you were given, but now that you can see it, you get to choose where you go next. That is not a small thing. Most people spend their entire lives calling the same wound a soulmate. Drop pattern in the comments if this hit different, and tell me, what is the exact moment your pattern usually kicks in? Is it month 3, the first time you show real vulnerability? When they start pulling away? Let's talk about it below, and if you are ready to understand where this pattern was built in the first place, the next video goes even deeper. Subscribe so you do not miss it.